Fashion. Who doesn't like fashion? Even prisoners more than likely on their way to life-ending expeditions like fashion. Oh wow, would you look at that? The suit I'm looking at right now says it's also worn by prisoners who work in the Ridge. I wonder how many other jumpsuits have cool details about. Too many. Hi, welcome to today's video, where I'll be showcasing all Urbanshade jumpsuits that have direct ties to the lore and inner workings of the Hadal Division. Now, keep in mind, most suits in this deep dive are pretty wacky, so it's fair to assume that most of these are non-canon and we're just given flashy descriptions for fun. On the other hand, I thought it would be fun to go over some of these suits, since some of the jumpsuits give us a little look into things that could have once been seen as dull in this game. Departments having their own designated suits, carriers for entities having their own colors, and hey, maybe you'll learn something new about the suit you're wearing too. Get ready for a bunch of nonsense. Enjoy, like and sub please. Alright, here's how this video is gonna go. We're gonna start off with workers / departments, personalities, and then go on to specific characters that are individual characters not lumped into a group. You'll understand more when we get to that section. So let's jump into the first section with workers and departments. Starting with the Yusha jumpsuit, Urbanshade's health administration uniform. The entire department was wiped out by an orbital strike due to poor safety standards. So yeah, nothing is too off limits for this awful corporation. The Ode jumpsuit, a suit designed for the middle rank prisoners that manage surface cleanup duties. The Fashionista jumpsuit, a pretty interesting one. This suit is given to the middle rank prisoners who design suits for their peers. The color scheme being a reference to Rarity from My Little Pony. Never thought I'd be saying My Little Pony in a pressure video, but here we are. The A-0 expedition jumpsuit, a suit worn by the prisoners assigned to the A-0 expeditions, referencing rooms made by Nika Rocks on Roblox. The watermelon in Zum I can't say it. Both suits acquired by the custom suit voucher, originally being the only suits that looked like this. They quickly gained traction and was mass produced due to popularity. I'm assuming the custom suit voucher is something the prisoners can be rewarded with after accomplishing enough tasks. The Charles jumpsuit, also a voucher suit. When being produced, 10,000 of these were made instead of just one, so we're all blessed with this awful neon color scheme. Moving on to the Kiwi jumpsuit, a counterfeit jumpsuit thought to have been made by the middle rank prisoners themselves and ended up joining Urbanshade's suit catalog. The Tag jumpsuit, a suit worn by the MR-Ps that are assigned to laser weaponry testing. Ouch. The Calculator jumpsuit, a suit designed for the prisoners infected by the rot, which is a reference to Rain World. The Repeater jumpsuit, another Rain World reference. This suit was designed for the MR-Ps, tasked with Z-5234's containment maintenance. The rot is basically the infection from Rain World. It usually has to do with environmental hazards and creatures that you could find. And as for the superstructure, it could possibly be referencing one of the main characters from Rain World, being Five Pebbles. They're kind of like this weird little slugcat guy. He has this huge superstructure, and it's a really big part of the game. I don't know. Fuck it, whatever. The Night jumpsuit, a suit worn by the MR-Ps who are assigned to Dark World Expedition, referencing the Dark World from the hit game Deltarune, and the suit referencing the main character Chris. The March jumpsuit, a suit given to the lower rank prisoners that work on a small farm somewhere hidden in the black site. Most of the LR-Ps given this position are pleasantly surprised. Hopefully the lockdown didn't disrupt whatever was going on there. The color scheme being a reference to Chica from FNAF, which is really weird because I don't understand why. The Marine jumpsuit, a jumpsuit worn by the MR-P who are assigned to take care of the deep sea bunnies. A pretty lucky job. The Ridge Worker jumpsuit, a suit worn by the prisoners assigned to work in the Ridge. The Crowbar and HEV jumpsuit, both suits assigned to the MR-P that work directly with the crystal, also known as Z-2. These suits being a reference to Half-Life 2. The Fire Hazard jumpsuit, worn by the prisoners that work with explosive waste and fire hazards. Along with this one, there is the Electrical Hazard jumpsuit, worn by the MR-P who work with the electronic equipment and other electrical hazards. The Killer jumpsuit, a suit worn by the prisoners tasked with killing Area 51 employees. The suit itself resembling Jeff the Killer's iconic outfit. The Hazmat jumpsuit. Obviously, after the health department was decimated, the suit was introduced for the MR-Ps that work in radioactive areas. Mind you, the suit has actually no capability of blocking radiation, nor does it come with any type of mask or headwear. The Backrooms jumpsuit, given to the LR-P that are assigned with Backrooms expeditions. A little side note, I would love to see Zeal's take on a Backrooms expedition. I would love to see what his creative little brain comes up with. The Swampy jumpsuit, worn by the prisoners who work within the Dead Marsh. This area has not been specified in lore yet, but could possibly be expanded on in the future. The Dead Air jumpsuit, a suit made by the MR-P who work with radio communications. The Wet Carpet jumpsuit. This suit is worn by the MR-P who help employees with decorating and furniture. A pretty simple job. The Toy Soldier jumpsuit, worn by the prisoners that work directly with Z-2512, also known. Oh my god, no way. Oh my god, if you put 12 in front of 25, it's 1225 like Christmas. Why am I just getting this now? This one, Z-2512, it's the analog horror Christmas tree. I'm just getting this now, oh my god. The Fisherman Jumpsuit, a suit designed for the middle-rank prisoners that fish for Black Site's meals. The Sunburn Jumpsuit, worn by the prisoners who work at daybreak. The Funky Jumpsuit, a jumpsuit designed for the LR-Ps that tests Urbanshade's experimental teleportation tech, obviously being a reference to Portal. Unfortunately, most tests go bad, resulting in prisoners embedded in walls. The Test Subject Jumpsuit, worn by the LR-Ps that are used for experimentation, most likely being a reference to the D-Class from the SCP Foundation. The Grayson Jumpsuit, a suit worn by the MR-P who work with transportation and logistics. The Guardian Jumpsuit, a jumpsuit designed for the MR-P who help with the protection details related to a monster we don't know yet, labeled as Z-931, this suit being a color scheme of the Guardians from Minecraft, so that might give us a good hint of what this is. The Hollow Jumpsuit, a suit designed for the MR-P that work with Z-1799 in Sleepy Hollow, being a direct reference to the movie The Legend of the Sleepy Hollow. The Holy Jumpsuit, a suit made for the MR-P that work with the blood pumps attached to the Guardian Angel. If you're caught wearing this around me, it's on site, buddy. The Runner Jumpsuit, known as the suit the LR-P wear that are used as bait. This suit has become infamous due to the meaning behind the colors. And here's our first subgenre, Wardrobe Malfunctions. The Coated Jumpsuit, a jumpsuit designed to protect the prisoner from the void mass. Fortunately, the suit worked, but failed to protect the prisoner inside of it. The Vault Jumpsuit, a jumpsuit made for surviving nuclear detonation, although, just like the previous, the wearer is not included. The Skeleton Jumpsuit, designed as an attempt to fool the skeleton bouncer from the graveyard, but it did in fact not work. The Bubblegum and Salmon Jumpsuits, both of these suits got mixed up in the laundry, and Urbanshade passed it off as an intentional design choice. The Haunter Jumpsuit, a suit designed to look like the ghost stuck in limbo, and was used to sneak prisoners into heaven, but surprise surprise, it did not work as well. In our second subgenre, the Divine, the Caretaker Jumpsuit, given to the prisoners who work directly with the Divine. Alright, this next one's a mouthful. The Clear Skies, Bloom, Thorn, Greener Grass, and Rotten Tree jumpsuits. All of these jumpsuits were worn by the MR-P that work within the Oxygen Gardens, probably described as this to specify they don't work directly with the Divine. Moving on to our third and final subgenre, the Taste Testers. The Candy Corn Jumpsuit, given to the LR-P that are assigned to taste testing candies. The Ice Cream Jumpsuit, also given to the LR-Ps designated to ice cream taste testing. The Noodles Jumpsuit, a suit given to the Noodle Taste Testing Division. After these three, you might be wondering, how come it's lower rank prisoners and not middle rank prisoners? And my best guess is, they're not all good flavors. Probably got some 500 cigarettes bullshit going on here. Now we're moving on to our next category, personalities. Also keep in mind these next two categories are fairly small. The Vampire Jumpsuit, a subgroup of expendables who oddly drink blood. The Blood Bag Jumpsuit, given to the LR-Ps that have the O-negative blood type, probably because this blood type is the universal blood donor. The Newbie Jumpsuit, given to the losers of Urbanshade that aren't good at anything whatsoever. The Ink Jumpsuit, the suit given to the faster working prisoners, also obtained by the 45-minute badge. The Impatient Jumpsuit, a suit given to the more productive prisoners that are given extra shifts due to said productivity. They tend to work fast. The Happy Dance Jumpsuit, suits designed for the prisoners who make music. Pretty simple. And for our next category, we have characters. The Chief Jumpsuit. The person that wore this suit was described as someone who proves their efforts in battle for Urbanshade, earning the Master rank at the end of their period there. Put Master and Chief together, Master Chief, you know, from Halo. The Mechanic Jumpsuit, specifically given to the expendables that perform black site maintenance, and are constantly at war with the Technician Jumpsuits, being inspired by the NG from TF2. The Technician Jumpsuit, the arch nemesis of the Mechanics, red versus blue baby. The Bulwark Jumpsuit, worn by the prisoner who sabotaged an Urbanshade cargo ship. Security footage indicated the prisoner moved with great swiftness and greater purpose, being a reference to Providence from Risk of Rain, one of my all-time favorite games. The Survivor Jumpsuit, worn by the LR-P tasked with carrying and manning cargo carriers. After the Bulwark incident, these prisoners were tasked with surviving in previously unknown territory, until Urbanshade could rescue the survivors, resembling Commando from Risk of Rain. The Parale Jumpsuit, the LR-P that wore this suit was excellent at swimming up currents. No clue if this is a reference or not. You get this suit after completing the dredge. The Slaughterer Jumpsuit. This suit was given away from a custom suit voucher after the wearer would always come back from any task assigned, referencing William Afton from FNAF. The Yakuri Jumpsuit, worn by a former chairman of a crime organization, infamous for his combat skills and equally powerful singing voice, referencing the Yakuza franchise. And that is all the jumpsuits I have for today. And maybe you learned something new about the jumpsuit you're wearing. Let me know your favorite fact in the comments. I really hope I didn't miss any, but make sure to let me know if I did. But for now, thanks for watching. Make sure to follow my TikTok and subscribe here. I'm really close to 10K. Bye bye.